We can break down expressions of anger into anger being expressed outwardly and anger being expressed inwardly. And there are different ways that we do that and different reasons for it. So generally, if we express anger in an outward way, it means that we are angry with someone or something else, and that we want them or other people to know about it. So we don't want to hide the way that we feel. We feel that people should know, and we want to show them that we are angry. And anger can come outward in one of two ways, really. So there is an aggressive way and an assertive way. So an aggressive way is generally uncontrolled, it's uncontained. It may be violent, volatile behaviour, shouting. And then an assertive way is expressing it directly. So letting the anger out, dealing with it directly, but in a more controlled way. So letting somebody know that actually what they've just said has made you feel quite angry, but you are in control of your responses. And the way that we express it, so the physical behaviour that we exhibit, is generally a learned response. So it's what we've seen from others around us. If we've grown up in an environment where a parent or somebody shouts a lot or becomes violent, then we will have learned that that is how people express anger. But sometimes there can be a genetic factor, and we talked a couple of weeks ago about what happens in the body when you feel a threat or a trigger point to anger, and that kind of physical arousal. And there can be a predisposition based on your genetics to being kind of physically aroused, being hyped up more easily than others. But it's really important to express the anger in some way. And so it's more helpful if you can do that in an assertive way rather than an aggressive way. But what happens if you don't express the anger is that it turns inwards. So why anger might get turned inwards can depend on what it is that we've been taught about anger. So have you been taught that anger is bad, that you shouldn't feel it, that you shouldn't express it, and then so you're more likely to try and suppress the anger, not show that you're feeling it and keep it inside. But also, it may be that what it is that you're feeling angry about doesn't feel safe to let other people know. So if you're feeling some sense of shame or embarrassment attached to what it is that you're angry about, you might not want people to know that you're feeling it or that it's happened at all. And so you'll tend to keep that inside, not express it, and not show people. Now, when anger is kept inside, a couple of things can happen, and that's that it either simmers away about other people. So we maybe become cynical, hypercritical of other people, making lots of passive aggressive comments about people, or we turn it inwards and become angry actually towards ourselves and can become self-deprecating, quite violent towards ourselves. Our confidence levels drop. So a lot of this again will depend on what you've been taught about who you are, how you feel about yourself. If you feel that everything is always your fault, if something goes wrong and you feel angry, you're much more likely to think that then somehow that is your fault and that you are the deserved recipient of the anger response rather than another person. But when it sits with us, it can stew, it can fester, and it doesn't go away. Just because we've suppressed something doesn't mean that it isn't there. It's sat there on some level and it's not being expressed. Anger is neither a good thing nor a bad thing. It is just an emotion, a natural emotion that everybody experiences at some time. But it's important, as with every emotion, that it is felt, it is experienced, and it is expressed. If we try to keep something inside of us, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to shift. It's just going to sit there, and it's just going to infect other things around us. So expressing our anger is really important, but that can be really difficult because we can often feel so out of control when we're feeling it. So next week, we're going to have a little bit of a think about how to express anger in a healthy and a helpful way.